Hey guys, Chris here, founder of Rooted Music. Guys, at Rooted, our goal is to help you learn to play the music that you love by coaching you on the why and not just the what. And we're going to do just that in today's tutorial. But before we do, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel here so you don't miss out on any of the new worship tutorials that we have for you. And I'd also love for you to check out the links in the description of this video where you can download our chord chart to this song for free, and also where you can learn more worship songs just like this for just $1 for the first 30 days. Check out those links and let's go ahead and dive into the video.
Hey everyone, this is JT with Rooted Music, here with you guys today for an advanced piano tutorial of the song Who You Say I Am by Hillsong Worship. And today we're going to be looking at the version of Who You Say I Am from their There Is More Studio Sessions album. And so this version is a little bit shorter than the more popular live version from the There Is More live album. And one thing that's really cool about this is that even though we're learning the shorter version of this song today, you can take the things from this video and apply it to the live version and it'll sound great. The piano parts are pretty much the same, so you could take exactly what we're playing today, put it on the live version, and it would sound awesome. So by the end of this video today, you're going to know everything you need to know in order to play Who You Say I Am, just like the recording. But before we just go diving headfirst into the song and try to learn it, there's actually some things that we need to go over before we start looking at the song that's going to make learning this song so much easier. And the first thing we're going to look at here is the key. And so the key for Who You Say I Am is F sharp major. And F sharp major, in my opinion, is one of the toughest keys to play on piano. Certainly if you're a newer piano student, this key is going to be pretty challenging. We have 6 sharps in the key of F sharp, and those sharps are F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. So we have our scale here. Really, we only have one note that doesn't have a sharp, and that's B. So I'm going to play this scale right here. So F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. And knowing the scale is really important because these are the notes that we're going to use to build the chords throughout the song. So generally, these are the only notes that we're going to play in the entire song. Now, I do want to point out one other thing here. We have an E sharp here, and E sharp may seem a little foreign to some of us here because E sharp is on a white key, and a lot of times we associate sharps and flats as being only on the black keys, but in reality, a sharp simply means we're raising whatever that note is by 1/2 step. And because E is a white key that has a white key to its right, when we raise this a 1/2 step, we call this E sharp. It's more commonly known as F, but this pitch can have multiple names, so you could call it F. But in this sense, we already have an F sharp in the key, and that would be really confusing to have F and F sharp in the same key, as well as we have to have E in the scale as well, so they call it E sharp instead of F. So just wanted to point that out, that yes, we're going to be referring to this pitch as E sharp. It's more commonly known as F. And again, we can have white keys that are sharps. So let's go through that scale one more time. So F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. Good. And before we continue, I want to look at this scale in natural numbers. If you look in the lower right-hand corner of the webpage, you're going to see that we've attached both the chord chart and the natural number chart. So you can choose which one you'd rather read. Some of you may be more familiar with natural numbers. Some of you may prefer the letter notation. It's really up to you. We're providing both. But I am going to be reading off the natural number chart today in this video, but I will be referring to both letter names and natural numbers. So let's go ahead and build our scale in natural numbers. And all we do is we remove these letter names, start on the same note. So we start on F sharp and we replace those letter names with numbers. So F sharp is 1, G sharp is 2, A sharp is 3, B is 4, C sharp is 5, D sharp is 6, E sharp is 7, and F sharp is back to 1. So let's go through that in numbers one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Awesome. And again, knowing these notes is really important. Knowing the scale is really important because these are the building blocks of our chords, which we're going to start building right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through this song and see all of the individual chords that we need to build as we're playing Who You Say I Am. So we have a 1 chord, which is F sharp. We have a 6 chord, which is D sharp minor. Our 5 chord is C sharp. Let's see what else. We have a 4 chord, which is B. And then I think we have nothing new in the chorus or verse 2, but in the bridge we have a 5-7 down here, which is our C sharp over E sharp. And that looks like that's it. So we have a total of 5 chords that we need to know in this song. And let's go ahead and build these chords in ascending order. So we're going to start with our F sharp or our 1 chord. So we have F sharp is the root, A sharp is the 3rd, and C sharp is the 5th. And there we go. That's F sharp or our 1 chord. Next we have B or our 4 chord. So B is the root, D sharp is the 3rd, F sharp is the 5th. And there we go. That's B or our 4 chord. Next we have C sharp, which is our 5 chord. So C sharp's the root, E sharp's the 3rd, G sharp's the 5th, C sharp or our 5 chord. Next we have our C sharp over E sharp or 5/7. But let's go ahead and go back to the bridge here just for a second and explain what slash chords are. So when we play a slash chord or a number over number or letter over letter chord, what we're doing here is we're looking at this, and each one of these numbers or letters tells us a very important thing. So the first number or letter tells us what we're playing in our right hand, and the second letter or number tells us what we're playing in our left hand. So what's before the slash is right hand, what's after it is left hand. So here on a 5-7 or C sharp over E sharp, we are going to play our C sharp triad just like we did in the right hand. C sharp's the root, E sharp's the 3rd, G sharp's the 5th. But instead of C sharp here in my left hand, we're going to move our C sharp to E sharp. Just like that. So I have 5/7, just like that. Good. And then the last chord we need to know is our D sharp minor. So D sharp's the root, F sharp's the 3rd, A sharp is the 5th, and there we go. That's our D sharp minor or our 6th chord. Awesome, so now let's go ahead and just go through those 5 chords again really quickly. So we have F sharp, which is our 1 chord, B, which is our 4 chord, C sharp, which is our 5 chord, C sharp over E sharp, which is 5/7, and D sharp minor, which is our 6th chord. Awesome. Now, I do want to point out one thing really quick, is that the chords that we just built reflect the overall harmony of the sections of the song. When we actually get to the sheet music and look at the actual note-for-note parts in Who You Say I Am, there's going to be a few differences, and one of those big differences is we're not going to play these chords in root position all the time. We will from time to time, but we're going to be using some inversions as well, and I just want to quickly talk about what a chord inversion is. So let's look at F sharp or our 1 chord. So we call this root position here because F sharp, or the namesake of the chord, is the lowest note we're playing in the right hand. But I could take this F sharp and raise it an octave up here and play this, and this is still an F sharp or a 1 chord, but we call this first inversion because the root has inverted from here up to here. It's still the same chord. We still have F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, still an F sharp chord, but now we have these notes in a different order. Also, if I wanted to move this A sharp up an octave, I could play this, and we call this second inversion because the 5th is now the lowest note in our right hand. So just a reminder, root position, the root's the lowest note in your right hand. First inversion, the 3rd of the chord is the lowest note in your right hand. And then second inversion is when we have our 5th as the lowest note in our right hand. These are all still F sharp chords. So these are a little harder to visually see on a piano. Root position's a little bit easier to find, and that's why we build those chords in root position. But I just wanted to make sure you were aware that we will be playing some inversions as we go through the actual note-for-note piano part in this song. And I know we just went through those chords really quickly, and we went through the scale of F sharp pretty quickly as well, but we can only cover the bare minimum in this video today, or else this video would be significantly longer. But if any of what we just covered was confusing to you, or you still have some questions about the key of F sharp major, in our piano tutorial library, we have an informational video on the key of F sharp, and it goes into much greater detail than what we could cover today in this video. It answers the questions to why does the key of F sharp have 6 sharps? How do we know what chords are in the key of F sharp major? How do we tell the differences between major chords and minor chords? And it goes into so much more detail. So we highly recommend you check that out, because by watching that video, not only are you going to learn a lot more about the key of F sharp, but you're going to learn valuable principles of functional harmony that apply to every key. So the information you would get from that key of F sharp video could be applied to songs that you're playing in the key of A, the key of G, the key of C. It doesn't matter. A lot of the information in that video applies to every key, so we highly recommend that you check that out. Great. So we now know our key, we know the scale, we know our chords. Let's go ahead and talk about the rhythmic elements of Who You Say I Am. The time signature for Who You Say I Am is 6/8, and the time signature tells us two very important things. The first number tells us how many beats are in a measure. So we have 6 beats per measure in Who You Say I Am. And the second number tells us what type of note is considered 1 beat. So because we have an 8 here, that means an 8th note is considered to be 1 beat. So we have 6 eighth notes worth of time per measure. And if you don't know what a measure is simply the way that we break the song down into smaller pieces. And that just really gives us a structure and a framework to help us keep track of where we are in the song. So every measure is going to have 6 beats. So when I'm counting, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just counted through 2 measures right there. The measures smoothly flow from one right into the next. You can think of measures as like the chapters of a song. If you've ever read a really long book, you know how the book is broken up into chapters, and that makes it easier to find which part of the book you're in. We can think of measures as the chapters of this song. And one thing to point out here about 6/8 time that's really important is that if you're used to playing songs in, say, 4/4 or 3/4 time, you know that if we split up our quarter notes into eighth notes, we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We group our eighth notes into groups of 2, but in 6/8, this is technically called a compound meter, which is a fancy term to say that instead of counting our eighth notes in group of 2, we're counting in groups of 3. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just remember, when you're playing through this song, instead of counting your eighth notes in groups of 2, we're going to be counting them in groups of 3. Good. And then the tempo for Who You Say I Am is 86 beats per minute, which definitely is a good mid-range tempo. This song has a good, steady energy. It's a powerful song. It doesn't drag. But again, we don't want to rush as we're playing through this as well. Good. Let's talk about the song order or the form of the song really quick. We start with our intro. We go to verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, chorus 2, 2 times through the bridge. We have a little tag section. Then we go through our chorus and then chorus 2 twice. And there we go. That's everything we need to know about Who You Say I Am before we start playing it, because we've covered the key, the scale, the chords, our time signature, our tempo. We know the song order. We're ready to look at the actual music. And let's come here to the intro and verse 1 really quick. And if you've never read off of a chord chart before, I just want to explain really quickly how we do this. So as we look here in verse 1, you're going to see some numbers or letters, depending on which chart you're reading, lined up with the lyrics. And so this is really helpful to us because these are what we call the chord changes. These don't represent every note or every chord that we're going to play in the song, but these tell us when we move from one chord to the next. And remember, these chords reflect the overall harmony of each section or each measure of the song. All right, so let's look here at verse 1, and we can see right off the bat that we have a 1 chord or F sharp that doesn't have any words underneath it, and this means we're going to play this chord before the lyrics and the melody starts. And then as we get to the second line here, we're going to play these chord changes as they line up with these words. So I'm going to go through these first 2 lines here and just give you a sample for how to follow this chord or natural number chart. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? Just like that. So you saw that I played this 1 chord here before the word who. Then I moved to this 6th chord, or my D sharp minor, on the well of welcome. Then I switched to my 5, or C sharp, on the come of welcome. And then I went back to my 1 chord on the word me, just like that. And that's how we follow a chord chart. All right, so now we know how the chord changes line up with the lyrics. What do we do in a section of the song where there aren't any words, like the intro here? So at Rooted, we've come up with a system that's really easy to follow to help you understand how long to play what types of chords through instrumental sections. So here we have 4 1s or 4 F sharp chords listed here. So every chord that's listed with a space gets one measure. So our intro is a total of 4 measures, and we have 4 measures of our 1 chord or F sharp. So I could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. And that was the intro. I could even hold it for all 4 measures if I wanted to, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth as well. Also, if you're ever in an instrumental section and you see 2 chords that are connected by a dash, that means that they share the same measure. But if there's a space between, that means they each get their own measure. Good. So now we've talked about how to read the chord chart based on where the chords line up with the lyrics and how to approach the chord chart if there aren't any lyrics, like in an instrumental section. Let's go ahead now and get into the specifics of Who You Say I Am. So again, we're going to start with our intro here. We have 4 measures of our 1 chord, and in the actual piano recording, what you're going to see here in the sheet music is that we simply hold this chord out for all 4 measures. So what I'm going to do as we're going through each section of this song in this video today is I'm going to go through the chord chart as if we were playing block chord style and we didn't have the sheet music, and I'll show you how to play it. I'm going to use some inversions as I'm playing this as well throughout kind of this block chord style. I'll show you how the chord changes line up with the lyrics, and then what I'll do is I'll go through and show you what the actual note for note sheet music looks like. So I'll show you 2 sides of the same coin where you can play it just based on block style chords, but if you want to get the actual note for note piano part, I'll go through that with you as well. Good, so we know now that our intro is 4 measures. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this intro in the block chord style here. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, here I held that chord for all 4 measures. You could play every measure and restate and replay those chords, or you could hold it for 2 measures, play it again for 2 measures. That's really up to you. Then here in the sheet music, you can see it's roughly the same. We're just moving some notes out of the way. So this is the actual part that they're playing here in the intro. So if I counted it in, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like that. That was the intro according to the sheet music. Great, let's go ahead and look at verse 1 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this and say the lyrics, kind of show you how to play it in block chord style. Then we'll break it down, and then I'll show you what the sheet music says. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me, oh, his love for me. And there we go. That was verse 1. So we're going to start here, and we have 2 full measures of our 1 chord or F sharp that happens before the word who, and we're going to hold that all the way through. And then we get to our 6th chord here. We go to our D sharp minor on the well of welcome, and we hold that for 3 beats of a measure. Then we go to our 5 chord or C sharp on the come of welcome for the other 3 beats of that measure. And we finish this first half of the verse with our 1 chord or F sharp for 1 full measure. So this group of 2 lines here is a total of 4 measures. Then we come down to our second half of verse 1. We play our F sharp or 1 chord before the word I, and we're going to hold this out for 2 full measures. Then we come down here to our 6th chord or D sharp minor on the word love. We play that for 3 beats. Then we have our C sharp or 5 chord on the word for 3 beats. So this makes up a measure. Then we have our 4 chord or B on the word me for a measure. Then we repeat this little group of 6, 5, 4 or D sharp minor, C sharp, and B. We go to our 6th chord or D sharp minor on the word love for 3 beats. We have our 5 chord or C sharp on the word for 3 beats, and we have our 4 chord or B on the word me for a full measure. So this is 4 total measures up here. This second half of the verse is 6 total measures. So we have a total of 10 measures. And if you've played a lot of worship songs before, you know that most sections of songs are multiples of 4. When we're counting our measures, most times the sections of a song will be 4 measures, 8 measures, maybe 16 measures. So to have 10 measures is a little bit different, but just remember that you have 10 total measures here in verse 1. Great. Now let's look at our sheet music here. These chord changes here in the sheet music are the exact same chord changes reflected in the chord chart. We just don't have the lyrics, but these line up the exact same way. So again, we have our 2 measures of F sharp, followed by a measure where we're splitting D sharp minor and C sharp, or 6 and 5. Then we go back to our 1 chord or F sharp for a measure. Here, again, we have our F sharp for 2 measures. Then we go to our D sharp minor, C sharp, and B. Here, just like we did on Love for Me. And then we repeat that right there. So here's our total of 10 measures. So now what I'm going to do is just simply play through this verse here according to the sheet music, so you can see how it all fits together. We do have some inversions here. We do have some chords here in root position as well. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. That was verse 1. All right, let's come down to the chorus. And so the chorus here is going to be a total of 8 measures. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this and say the lyrics, and then we'll break it down. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. And so when I counted in there, you heard me say 1, 2, 3, 4, who the. So these 2 words, who the, on who the sun sets free, are actually the last 2 beats of our last measure up here in the verse. We call these pickup notes, where the melody is stealing some beats from the prior measure and leading us into the first full measure of the chorus. And again, that's just because the melody was written in a way that it doesn't start on beat 1 of the chorus. So remember that these 2 words are actually being sung on the last 2 beats up here. So our first full measure of the chorus starts with our 1 chord or F sharp on the word sun, and that's going to get 2 measures. Then we move to our 5 chord or C sharp on the word free, and that's going to get 2 measures. Then we move to our D sharp minor or 6 chord on the word child. We're going to play that for 3 beats. Then we move to our 5 chord or C sharp on the word of for 3 beats. Then we go to our 4 chord or B on the word God for a full measure. And then we finish with our 1 chord or F sharp on the word am for 2 full measures. So remember, we have a total of 8 measures here, and we have a few chord changes, but it's pretty similar to the verse. Again, we have this 6 and 5 chord or D sharp minor and C sharp sharing a measure going into our 4 chord, just like we saw up here. So now let's go ahead and look through the sheet music here and point out anything we need to know. Again, we got our F sharp chord here for 2 measures, and we go our C sharp or 5 chord here for 2 measures. We got that 6 to 5 or D sharp minor to C sharp, just like we had here. We have a full measure of B or a 4 chord here. Now in the right hand here of these last 2 measures of the chorus, we're going to have this melody here that's also being played in the electric guitar part. It's probably a little more prominent in the electric guitar, and you probably hear that on the recording more from that than you do on the piano, but we're playing the same thing right there. So it plays like this. Just like that. So let's go ahead and go through the sheet music here, and I'll show you how we play it. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. There we go. That's how the sheet music plays through chorus 1. Great. Let's go back to verse 2. And as we look at verse 2, we're going to find that verse 2 plays the exact same way as verse 1 does when it comes to our block chords. The only thing that really changes between verse 1 and verse 2 are the words. So in order to save ourselves a little bit of time, we're going to skip going through this in the block chords here in verse 2. But let's go ahead and look at the piano part, the sheet music here for verse 2, and let's point out any differences we have. So one thing I do want to point out really quick before I play through this is that here in measures 4, 5, and 6, you're going to see that we have a tied note crossing all 3 measures here in the right hand, but we are going to replay our left hand here in measure 5. So just be aware of that. Because these are tied and these are tied, it might be easy to assume this is a tied note, but we're going to end up having one measure here where our right hand's being held down from a prior measure, and we're going to add a big F sharp octave in our left hand. So here it is, verse 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. Just like that. So remember, like I mentioned just a second ago, we are going to replay this F sharp here in the left hand while we're holding this F sharp or 1 chord in our right hand through 3 straight measures. Great. Let's go back to the chord chart and we'll continue on. All right, so here we are in the chorus. And this chorus, in regards to if you're just playing the block chord style based off the chord chart, plays exactly the same as the chorus we went through previously. We have 8 total measures here. So let's move on to chorus 2, and we're going to find that chorus 2 is pretty much the same thing as chorus 1, just with different lyrics. So this plays exactly the same as this plays. So we could consider this giant chorus section composed of chorus 1 and chorus 2 to be a total of 16 measures. Or you could kind of say I'm playing this same 8 measure chord progression 2 times in a row. But this plays the exact same way. Great, let's go ahead and look at the sheet music and see what differences we have here in the chorus. Again, we're just playing very specific notes here in the chorus. We're playing some inversions here, but this follows the chord progressions from the chord chart just the same as it did in chorus 1. And in chorus 2, we're going to pretty much see the exact same thing here in the sheet music as well, except when we get to the end here, we've now added the octave note, the higher octave here, for that little melody of 8th notes that we played at the end of chorus 1. Note here as well at the end of chorus 1, this time we don't have that here. The electric guitar is covering that. We're just simply playing that F sharp chord there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through chorus and chorus 2 just to show you how it all ties together. So here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember, we don't play that little melody here. That's the end of the chorus 1, and we go right into chorus 2. And we're going to start here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, chorus 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we come down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want to point out something really quick is that because I'm playing on a 49 key MIDI keyboard in this video, I don't have enough keys to play this full octave here and play these lower octaves here on the piano. But if you're playing on an 88 key piano, go ahead and give this a shot. It's pretty cool. We've got some very low notes here, but we also have some higher notes here, and they sound really good together. Now, if your hand can't quite reach that octave to play this all the way up here like this, feel free to just play either the lower octave or play the higher octave. But if you were playing that octave in your right hand, it would look something like this. Just like that. It sounds really cool. It is a little bit tough, especially because we're moving those octaves around pretty quickly. But if you wanted to give that a shot, it's written in the music here, so you can go ahead and try that. But if it's too hard or your hand can't quite reach that octave, I'd encourage you to play the lower note of the two. But if you want to, you could play the higher one as well. Great, let's move on to the bridge. So here we are in the bridge, and now we have a new chord progression that we're going to follow. And one thing that's really nice about the bridge, it's the same 4-chord pattern over and over as we go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this in the block chord style. and I'm going to say the lyrics, and then we'll break it down. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. And there we go. So each one of these chord changes is going to get one measure each, and this is a total of 8 measures here in our bridge. So we start just like we started the chorus. We have some pickup notes leading us in. So you heard me count 1, 2, 3, 4. I am chosen, because our first full measure starts here on chosen. And so we're going to play our 6th chord or D sharp minor for one measure. Then we go to our 5/7 or C sharp over E sharp on the second of forsaken for a measure. Then we go to our 1 chord or F sharp on the word am for a measure. And then we play our 4 chord or B after the word am. So again, I'll play this line so you can hear it. I am who you say I am. So the temptation is going to be to play this 4 chord or B on the word am, but because this comes after the word am, make sure you play it after and not on that word. And then we repeat the same chord progression. We have our 6th chord or D sharp minor on the word for a measure. Then we have our 5/7 or C sharp over E sharp on against for a measure. Then we have our 1 chord or F sharp on the word am for a measure. And then we have our 4 chord or B for a full measure after the word am. There. Good. That was our first time through the bridge. Let's go ahead and look at the sheet music. So here in the bridge, we're just playing each one of these chords for one total measure. So we've got some inversions going on, but these are pretty much the same chords that we just played in the block style. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this really quick, and then we'll move on. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. That was the first time through the bridge. Let's go back to the sheet music and look at the next section, which is a repeat of the bridge. This is played the exact same way as we previously played it. So if you can play the bridge the first time through it, you can easily play through it again. Same lyrics, same chord progression. The chords are held out the exact same amount of time. Everything is the same. So let's look here at the second time through the bridge. And in the actual piano part from the song, you can see those chords are still the same in the right hand, but instead of playing for all 6 beats in our left hand, we're going to break our dotted half notes up into 2 dotted quarter notes, each one of these getting 3 beats. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the second time through the bridge in the sheet music so you can see how that ties together. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like that. Now let's go back to our chord chart here really quick, and we have a tag section. And what a tag section simply is, it's a repeat of generally the last line or the last couple of measures of a section. So in a worship song, it's basically saying, I want to repeat this last line, but don't want to repeat the whole bridge. That's what a tag is. So you can see here in the tag, we simply repeat the last line of the bridge. I am who you say I am. But the chords are a little different here. So we have a slightly different chord progression because we leave out our 1 chord, just go 6, 5, 7 to 4, just like here. So I'm going to play through this tag and show you how that works in the block chord style. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am who you say I am. And that's it. That is the tag section. So it's a total of 2 measures, or the last line of the bridge. So we have our 6th chord or D sharp minor on the word am, and we're going to hold that for 3 beats. We go to our 5/7 or C sharp over E sharp for the last 3 beats of that measure on the word say. So this is one measure. And then our second measure of the tag section is our 4 chord or B that comes after the last word am. And so let's look to the sheet music now and see how does the sheet music look for the tag section, it looks pretty similar to what we've previously been playing. So let's go through this tag section here really quick. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. And that takes us now back to the chorus. And so we've already gone through the chorus in the block chord style, and this plays the exact same way as chorus 1 previously did in both other times we've gone through it. And then we come down to chorus 2, and this plays the exact same way as chorus 2 did earlier. So we can think of this as a giant 16-measure chorus section here if we want to, just like we did earlier. And this plays the exact same way. So let's look at it at the sheet music, and we're going to see a similar thing here. Same thing. We do have this octave of that little melody again of eighth notes here at the end of each one of these choruses. And we're going to see it both times here. So because this plays pretty much the same as earlier, we're going to skip this in regards to playing through it in the sheet music. Like I said, just remember, you can play one of these notes if you want to, if you don't have enough keys on your keyboard to get the low end and the high end, or if your hand can't reach that full octave. But this is a fun little section to play, but it may take some practice because moving your hand around while keeping that octave stretch does take a little bit of coordination that some songs don't require. So practice that if you want to get that down. And then we look here in chorus 2, and we're going to see the same thing here. It plays the exact same way as chorus 1 did up above. And so for the sake of time, we're going to skip this section as well. So let's move back to the chord chart here. And then we get to the end here. We have a repeat of chorus 2. And this is the part where the band really drops out. And it's just some light piano, maybe a little light guitar and kind of pad behind the singer as she's just repeating this chorus 2, in my Father's house there's a place for me. So here it's the exact same thing as we played previously, but we do have this one chord on Yes I Am to finish it out. So I'm going to play through this in block chord style just so you can see it. So here it is, 1, 2, 3, 4. In my Father's house there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. So the band actually slows down a little bit here, and the one chord here is played on am, or maybe just a little bit before here, but it does generally line up here. So we wrote it over the word am, but in the recording you might hear it come in just a little bit ahead of this word. Great. So again, when we get to this one chord and the end of the song, we can hold this out as long as we want as the song's kind of winding down and fading out. But there we go. This is still a total of 8 measures. Just these last 2 measures are covered here in this final holding out of the chord. And then if we come to the sheet music here, we're going to look and see it's pretty much the same thing, except we have a little bit of a more bare bones piano part here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this so you can hear what this sounds like. We have a lot of lower octaves here in the left hand, and then we only have these thirds here in the right hand. So here it is the final time through chorus 2 after most of the band has dropped out. Here is that piano part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. And that's the end right there. I do want to point out really quick that my keyboard doesn't have enough keys to quite hit this low B here and also be able to reach these, but you're going to keep that octave going. I only could play this top one here. Just I was 1 key short of that. But there we go. So again, right hand's just playing thirds here. Left hand's really providing that really, really low end sound there. But there we go. We made it all the way through the chord chart, and we've made it all the way through the sheet music. So way to go on that. That was awesome. So let's just go ahead and review really quick kind of everything we've covered, and then we'll wrap this video up. So again, if we go back to the top of our chord chart up here, we've covered the key, the notes of the scale, we've covered the chords we need to play, and kind of the general harmony that's reflected throughout the song. We've gone through the time signature. We've gone through the tempo, the song order. We broke down the entire song and how the chord changes relate to the lyrics, how to play this song in the block chord style that you may be used to when you're playing off of chord charts, but we also talked about all of these specifics that come with the sheet music and the actual note-for-note piano part. So again, it's really up to you. If you'd rather play the block chord style, feel free. If you want to play off the sheet music, feel free. If you kind of want to mix and match and maybe play the block chord style, but still have the little melody, you can totally do that as well. But we're super pumped you guys made it to the end of this video, and now you know everything you need to know to play Who You Say I Am. So one thing I want to point out really quick as we're wrapping up is that there's a comment box down below this video. If there was anything in this video that was confusing, that you may have questions on, please leave a comment or a question. We would love to help you out. There's no such thing as a bad question. If you don't know the answer, you simply don't know. So we want to help you as best as we can. Also, if you watch this video and everything clicked and it made sense and you're just playing this and it's coming together really nicely, let us know. We love to hear that positive feedback as well. Love to hear the stories of how you guys are learning these songs and playing them really well. So in just a second, you're going to see me play through this song. I'm going to play the note-for-note part from the sheet music, and you're going to see how this all lines up with the recording. But thank you so much for watching this video today, guys. We're so excited you're taking the time to learn Who You Say I Am. Thanks for watching.
Who am I that the highest king would welcome me? I was lost, but he brought me in. Oh, his love for me. Oh, his love for me. Who the sun sets free, who is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. Free at last, he has ransomed me, his grace runs deep. While I was a slave to sin, Jesus died for me. Yes, he died for me. Who the sun sets free, who is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God, yes I am.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us today in this tutorial. I hope you really enjoyed it and learned a lot through it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel here so you don't miss any of the new tutorials we have coming up. And make sure to check out those links in the description of this video so you don't miss out on the chord chart and you don't miss out on more and more worship song coaching for just $1 for the first 30 days. Check out those links, and we'll see you soon.